The War for the Dutch Independence. King Philip II's dominions spread from the Atlantic to the Pacific and included the Netherlands, Naples, and Milan in Italy. By becoming the King of Portugal in 1580, he united the states of the Iberian Peninsula. During his reign, Spain became an intellectual and cultural center in Europe. Philip even gained the title King of Paper because of all the work responsibilities he had to deal with during his reign. Spain stood alone against the Ottoman Empire in the Mediterranean. The Europeans felt very threatened by the Ottomans' advances, and popes even wanted to call for crusades against the Turks. In 1571, Italian and Spanish forces united against the Ottomans. The battle consisted of 300 ships and more than 80,000 warriors sent against the Ottoman Empire. Spain defeated the Ottomans in the Battle of Lepanto, which marked the end of the Ottoman advances. Since Philip was strongly Catholic, he suggested to his wife Mary I to keep England Catholic. However, after Mary's death and Elizabeth's accession to the throne, England became more and more Protestant. The Spanish king proposed marriage to Elizabeth, which she later rejected. Eventually, tension and hostility between Spain and England occurred. In 1588, Philip II decided to invade England, sending a fleet of 130 ships and 30,000 men to the English Channel. This battle was called the Spanish Armada. However, the English were very well prepared and defeated the Spanish, causing great economical, financial, and psychological losses for Spain. Philip II settled to take over the Netherlands as he expanded Spain's territories to the north. The 17 states were called the Low Countries, or as we know them in present time, the Netherlands. They were called the Low Countries because of all the floods there that kept most of the land underwater. The Netherlands were very prosperous. They were the main leader in manufacturing in Europe, but their territories were divided linguistically, culturally, and graphically. They were tied with Spain and the New World when Philip II set sail to Castile in 1559 to claim the crown of Spain. After he became king, Philip II assigned his sister, Margaret of Parma, as his regent in the Netherlands to carry out policies which were formulated in Spain, along with a group of Spanish administrators to help her. The Peace of Augsburg in 1555 was a treaty for temporary settlement in the Holy Roman Empire, and it was accepted by Germany. It resulted in the Catholics, Calvinists, Lutherans, and Anabaptists living together in peace. Later, Philip II, with the Pope's agreement, decided to reform the church hierarchy. He expanded the bishops' number and sent an invitation to the Jesuits to establish schools for Orthodox learning. Also, he made stronger the Inquisition's power and the Council of Trent. Many town governors and noblemen refused to obey those new laws, and Protestants like William of Orange, who was a large landholder in the Netherlands, and Count Egmont, a military leader, wanted Margaret to establish a policy of toleration along the lines of the Peace of Augsburg. Even though the Peace of Augsburg was enforced, there were conflicts and tension between Calvinists and Catholics. Calvinists started destroying Catholics' property and the local authorities were helpless. While Margaret had restored some order in the country, Philip II was still determined to punish rebels and enforce heresy laws. The Duke of Alba sent a large military force from Spain as an army of occupation. In 1568, Alba lured Protestant noblemen to Brussels and publicly executed them. The Council of Blood, a military court where participants in the rebellion were punished, was established. That led to the war between Spain and the Netherlands in the next 80 years. Alba's policies forced Spanish government to raise taxes from loyal provinces to maintain army, which is why many provinces were in revolt over taxation. In 1572, Protestants established bases in Holland. William of Orange united two provinces against Philip II. With that, the Spanish army and government started collapsing, and in 1576, Spanish troops sacked Antwerp, one of the wealthiest cities. That ended Philip's rule, but he refused to accept the dismemberment of his inheritance. In 1576, pacification of Ghent led to the Protestants establishing a permanent home in the north. The Estates General started ruling in the south, and the Spanish government conceded local autonomy. In 1581, Catholic and Protestant provinces split, and from the 1580s to the 1590s, military expeditions attempted to reunite the southern provinces and conquer the northern. There was success in the south, but failure for reunion in the north. 20 years later, in 1609, the 12 Years' Truce took place, which initially recognized the existence of Holland. From then on, Holland became one of the greatest rivals of Spain and Portugal.